you about what has happened this evening. Ruth Bader Ginsburg has died at the age of 87. And I promise you, we are living in the absolute worst timeline imaginable, because we do know that Donald Trump and Mitch McConnell are going to seize upon this opportunity like nothing we've ever seen in order to capitalize on this, to give the conservatives a Supreme Court with a 6-3 conservative tilt. And never mind the fact that I won't even point out the hypocrisy that is getting ready to be on full display. I won't point it out because that's the point. The hypocrisy is the point for conservatives. Despite the fact that when Antonin Scalia died, Mitch McConnell insisted that we did not put somebody on the bench during an election year. And they held out for some 7 to 8 months, some ridiculous amount of time. Even though we're less than 50 days away from the election, I guarantee you they are going to move in earnest to replace Ruth Bader Ginsburg as quickly as possible. So I wanted to get your thoughts and your opinions. You can leave a comment in any of the comment sections. We are streaming on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We are on Twitch. We are everywhere. And I want to get your input and see what everyone is thinking. Here's a comment here. Well, there's a couple of simple comments here from Veronica. This is so tragic. This is awful. Absolutely. And that's why I wanted to stream so that everyone can have a chance to say what's on their mind. The only thing I can keep thinking of is that if there was ever a time we were going to need a Democratic Party that can fight like hell, it would need to be right now. The Democratic Party has to fight in a manner that they've never fought before. Because the advantage, the political advantage, the type of person that Donald Trump is going to appoint to the bench, the kind of damage that they are going to do is going to be felt for generations to come. The damage that is going to be done, our children, hell, our grandchildren, are going to be dealing with it. Think about this. If he appoints Tom Cotton, that's one of the names that he floated. If you're in your 40s, 30s, your grandchildren are going to be dealing with a fascist like Tom Cotton on the Supreme Court. We're not talking about people who are simply satisfied at ensuring that they have liberty. We're talking about people who won't strike that. We're talking about people who define their liberty as their ability to infringe on yours. It's not good enough for Tom Cotton to have the liberty to marry whoever he wants to marry. Liberty to people like Tom Cotton, who Donald Trump would most assuredly try to appoint to the bench because that's what he said. Liberty to someone like Tom Cotton is ensuring that you can only marry the type of person that he approves of. Liberty is to him not having full control over his body. Liberty to conservatives is also having control over your body. And this is the type of conservative that Donald Trump is going to appoint. They're already in motion right now. Sure, somebody's crafting up some kind of half-assed statement that he'll deliver, right? But the fact of the matter is that they are already taking the short list and seeing how quickly they can push this through. Of course, there's a conversation about she should have retired years ago, and she should have. I think there was the fatal flaw, the fatal conceit, if I can borrow that from Hayek, is the fact that Democrats could not imagine Hillary Clinton not winning in 2016. And that's why she didn't retire. But that didn't happen. And so now we are stuck in a position where Donald Trump, in his first term, will get 3 Supreme Court picks, tilting the bench to a 6-3 conservative tilt. And God forbid he gets a second term. Mark O'Brien says the fact that our democracy and Supreme Court lay in the hands of a few Senate Republicans is scary AF. Absolutely. Read a couple more. It's a super chat from Ekim. I think McConnell will use the vacancy as an election issue and fill the seat during the lame duck. Yep. But I don't think they'll be able to fill it before the election. Probably not. It's 50 days out. And it's a huge motivator for the GOP base to get out and vote. I think that's a spot-on analysis. Let me put that back on the screen. I think that is a spot-on analysis. It's in motion now. And they're most certainly, absolutely certainly, if they don't get it done, it would take a miracle for them to get it done before the election. If they don't get it done before the election, they most certainly are going to feel it in between. We're going to watch Republicans break every rule that they tried to establish to hinder Barack Obama. And this is why. Michael Boyd said, get ready for battle, folks. This is why we cannot play games with conservatives ever. We cannot try to be reasonable with unreasonable people. We cannot try to be rational with irrational people who weaponize irrationality. We can't play games with these people. We cannot afford to think that we can appeal to their greater humanity. We cannot afford to think that at some juncture in this fight, they are going to do the right thing, because at every juncture, conservatives have shown us that they will not do the right thing. They will do the wrong thing and the politically expedient thing and whatever is going to give them an advantage. We simply cannot play games with them, because at every inch they will take a mile. They are playing for keeps. And if Democrats continue to play the game of civility, we will find ourselves locked up in a political prison waiting on them to show us that greater sense of humanity. Waiting to see that perhaps some Republican is going to stand up and do the right. You're going to see every single Republican who pretended as though they were going to vote for Joe Biden. They are salivating at this moment, because this is the grand prize. This is the grand prize. You're going to see people from the Lincoln Project. You are going to see people from the Lincoln Project back away from their criticisms of Donald Trump, because this is the game, ladies and gentlemen. This is check and mate. Because if they can get a fully conservative court, then they can undo the entirety of the 20th century, which has been their goal since the original New Deal. Their goal has been to take America back to the Gilded Age. There's not a piece of legislation, even if Donald Trump loses, but they manage to put somebody on the bench. There's not a piece of legislation that will not go up before the Supreme Court that has any progressive value whatsoever that they will not strike down. And all of this is because I'm not going to dwell on the blame game here too much longer. I'm mentioning the blame game here because if we ever get another chance, we cannot play the same game and make the same mistakes. It is because while Democrats were playing civility politics and had respect for the institutions, I get it. You want to respect the institution. Barack Obama, above anything else, had respect for American institutions. While Democrats were obsessed over respecting the institutions of the United States of America, conservatives were amassing power, and now they can strike the fatal blow. And it would be one thing, I'm going to repeat what I said a few minutes ago. It would be one thing if what they actually wanted was simply liberty for themselves. But how these bastards define liberty is their freedom to infringe upon your rights. I'm going to repeat the same thing over again. It's not good enough for people like Tom Cotton to be able to marry who he wants to marry. He defines liberty as being able to control who you can marry. It's not enough for Ted Cruz. And I mentioned those two because those are two people that Donald Trump expressly mentioned that he wanted to appoint to the bench. It's not good enough for Ted Cruz to have the liberty to control his body. He defines liberty as his ability to control the body of women. That's what we're up against. That's the challenge. That's the fight. That's the score. And that's been the score for a very long time, long before Democrats still haven't figured this out. Oh, but they better figure this shit out in a hurry. They better figure it out right now. Because if we do not fight back at a more intense level than Republicans are fighting, then we would have lost the future. And we will be saddled with a country that swears that they are about liberty, when at the core of them, they are about controlling and dominating your life, telling you who you can marry, telling you what you can do with your body, telling you where you could be educated, telling you, the things that they are going to do to the Voting Rights Act, the things they're going to do to the Civil Rights Act. I mean, we're just getting started. There are people in the Republican Party who come directly from the lineage of Barry Goldwater, who didn't believe that we should have even had the Civil Rights Act and the Voting Rights Act of 1964 and 1965. Those people are still here. And that's the type of conservative that Donald Trump wants on the bench. This is it. This is it. This is the ball game. There's really not much that they can do. And I'm sure there's something maybe a Senate scholar, a Supreme Court scholar can throw in the mix to actually do something. But at the end of the day, having the majority and having Mitch McConnell as the Senate Majority Leader and having the type of Democratic Party we have, the game has been rigged for a long time, but we're talking about a whole different ball game here, folks. We're talking about a ball game of fascism. And I don't care. Miss me with, it's not technically fascism. It's not precisely fascism. The likes of people like my friend, love him, Glenn Greenwald, not my friend, this guy, Michael Tracy, all of these libertarian-esque commentators who want us to debate over the technical definition of fascism, miss me with all that. Because what we are going to see is a full-on assault on the entire 20th century, taking us back to the Gilded Age, the age of Baron Robbins. Baron Robbers, it's that kind of night. Let me get some of your comments. You guys are going off in the chat room. I just wanted to put that on the, yes, it is certainly neo-fascism. I disagree with this. I'm going to put this on the screen because I disagree. If our civil liberties hinged on one person, the system is not worth keeping. You shouldn't have said that shit right there. You shouldn't have said that. Because just because a system is broken does not mean we burn it to the ground. And I don't think people like to talk about revolution. Damn it, I'm buttoning this jacket. People like to talk about revolution. But when the rubber actually meets the road, some of the people who talk about burning this system to the ground would be the very first people on the very first boat off this rock, off this continent, seeking refuge in another nation. Some of the same people who are like, this system isn't worth saving. So what, pray tell, do you suggest we do? Allow everything around us to crumble simply because you don't think the system is worth saving? Because the system is broken, let's burn it to the ground? Do you know what that includes? That includes burning all of our aspirations to the ground, all of our hopes for marginalized people to the ground, all of the communities that we purport to serve, burning it down to ashes. Burning down all of the progress that we could make. You preemptively burn it down. All of the goals that we have to fix income inequality, fuck it, just burn the whole thing down. Everybody's equal because nobody has anything except the billionaires who are able to take all their wealth and leave. I don't really have time for people who like to fancy the idea of revolution when at the end of the day, y'all will probably be some of the first to leave, to escape. While marginalized communities who don't have the resources to actually leave will be stuck here underneath an even more oppressive system. You think you're actually going to burn down the United States of America and something beautiful from the ashes is going to emerge? No, something far more totalitarian and authoritarian and fascistic will emerge from the ashes. And that's why we have to save this system. Because there's no beautiful ending after. This is not Star Trek, ladies and gentlemen. As much as I love Star Trek, there is no emerging from the ashes of a nuclear war and to come into some space communism. It's not going to happen that way. And even if it does happen that way, we're talking about the ashes of billions of people. The ashes of everyone we're fighting for. That's why we have to fight like hell. If that comes, it comes. But damn it, if we don't do everything that we possibly can do to preserve and to perfect this system that is clearly broken because it did hinge on one person who did not take the advantage to retire when she had the opportunity to be replaced by Barack Obama. So the system is grossly broken. It is terrifyingly broken. But we are past the Rubicon. We are so past the Rubicon where we don't have to, what are we going to do? Just sit back and, we're going to get our guns and go fight America's army? Because they'll bring the full force of the military down on us. We're going to get some tanks. Fine, they got an Air Force. We get some people who know how to fly some planes. They got anti-aircraft missiles. They got the entire Navy. Oh, we take over the Navy, which will never happen. They've got nukes. So the fanciful flights of fantasy about burning this to the ground, I don't fancy that idea. I keep that reserved in the back of my mind because if it comes, it comes. But God damn it, if we don't do everything that we can to fix it right now, and that includes holding the line right here. If there's anything that can be done, God damn it, you better do it. And I don't know. I didn't have time. I wanted to get a legal scholar on tonight. I didn't have time to catch anybody. I just went and said, let's just go live. Fuck it, we'll do it live. I'll get with a legal scholar and we'll see over the weekend. I'm sure there's an article being written right now about if there is literally anything that can be done. But you know what we can do? First of all, vote this bastard out of office. Number one. Vote Donald Trump out of office. Number two, Joe Biden. If Donald Trump, this is the nuclear, if you want to go nuclear, here's the plan. If Mitch McConnell and Donald Trump appoint somebody before Joe Biden is inaugurated, then Joe Biden makes a guarantee that we're packing the courts, ladies and gentlemen. We're packing the goddamn courts. We're going to pack the motherfucking courts until there's so many justices on that bitch that we don't give a goddamn about who they put on the bench. You could put Tom Cotton on the bench, but if you do it between now and January, we are going to stack the courts with so many liberals in Joe Biden's first term that this country is going to be full of nothing but gay communists by 2025. Play with it. That's the threat. Hold the line there. I'm done because I'm about to go work out before I have an aneurysm in this motherfucker. I will see you next.